welcome to another episode of Always Up to Date. I'm Denise and this is Yahweh, and we are co-owners of Always Bookkeeping. So today we're going to be talking about hiring strategies. For those of you that are new to our channel, you'll see that we always start our videos with a quote and a statistic. So our quote today is from Jim Collins, who is the author of 6 different books. And his quote is, "Letting the wrong people hang around us is unfair to all the right people, as they inevitably find themselves compensating for the inadequacies of the wrong people. Worse, it can drive away the best people. Strong performers are intrinsically motivated by performance, and when they see their efforts impeded by carrying extra weight, they eventually become frustrated." So the statistic today is from CD Insights, and they reviewed essays from failed entrepreneurs, and it said that most of the entrepreneurs listed multiple reasons for failure. 42% of entrepreneurs who failed reported no market for their services or product as one of the reasons for failure. 29% of entrepreneurs who failed reported running out of cash as one of the reasons for failure. And 23% of entrepreneurs who failed reported not having the right team as one of the reasons for failure. These were the 3 most common reasons reported. All of the other reasons reported less frequently, such as pricing, cost, timing, location, etc. So you're a small business owner and things are starting to grow, your company is growing, and you've hired a couple of employees and things seem to be going really good, and one day you come into the office and one of your employees gives their 2 weeks notice, and you think, oh, now on top of all of the things you've got to do, you've got to hire somebody new. Mm-hmm. And Yahweh, both you and I have gone through the hiring process, and we've kind of come up with a new way of hiring. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to just talk about this hiring strategy that we have.
Okay, so before we start off, we have some questions that we're going to try to answer all throughout the video. The first one is, what is the difference between a conventional interview and a group interview?
Yeah, good question. So most people know what a conventional interview is. Just, you put it out there, maybe put your ad on Indeed or wherever you might put it out. Maybe you hear of somebody through word of mouth, you have friends, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so you book a bunch of time off to meet these people. You read all the resumes that have come in. You maybe do a phone screening, give them a call, talk to them, bring them in to interview them, do the interview for a couple of hours, maybe an hour. I don't know how long an interview goes for, but maybe a couple hours is a long time. But you still have to schedule that time. Yeah. And inevitably, people don't show up. Mm-hmm. So you've wasted all this time, you're waiting. Where a group interview, you can see as many people as you want at one time. Mm-hmm. As many people show up, you get to see them. It cuts down on the time of having to find people. One of the biggest advantages is that you can see so many more people with a group interview. Mm-hmm. And that's how you're going to find your A team, the people that are going to fit into your company, that are going to help you, that's going to kind of separate the people that are just kind of, they'll do because we need somebody, and the people that are like, okay, this is the person I want on my team. Mm-hmm.
And it's very important, I believe, for small businesses because we only have so much time, and usually the owners are the only ones that are doing the hiring process. They don't really have the HR component just yet separated from all their departments. So just cutting down on time is the big advantage of having a group interview. Yeah. So how many people should you interview before hiring somebody?
Yeah, it seems crazy, but you should hire 100 people before you interview or before you hire somebody. And sometimes that can be daunting. Like, how do you see 100 people? That's just crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you fit seeing so many people into your schedule?
Yeah, so that's what's so good about the group interview. Send out a job posting, have that job posting running. Set up a time in your schedule for group interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And just when somebody sends you a reply to the posting, then what we do is we just send out a standard email. It's just the basic email saying this is when our group interviews are. These we have them calendared in for the next year. These are when we're having our group interviews. This is what time it's at. Come to the group interview. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we've had 3 or 4 people show up. I think one time we even had just one person. Mm-hmm. But we've also had 20 people show up mm-hmm. for the group interview. So that's how you can see that many people. You see them all at the same time, which is a bit of an advantage as well, because then you can kind of compare. Mm-hmm. After you've seen 8 people for like a whole week of interview time, and you kind of forget your first one. When you saw somebody on Monday, and by Friday you've forgotten what the first one was, what you liked about them, or how do they compare to the one that you saw on Friday, like between the two, which would be a better fit. Yeah. Where if you have them all in the room at the same time, you can see them right there, and you can kind of compare.
Mm-hmm. And you can totally see the dynamic, especially in the group setting for the people that are applying to your company. Also, it cuts down on the questions that are becoming repetitive when you're doing the interview. In a conventional interview, we normally have a set of questions that we ask, and most of them, they're pretty repetitive. The answers are pretty repetitive. Yeah. So in a group interview, when people are answering the questions, they will have to think of something else from the other person to be able to stand out. So I think that's one of the advantages as well in having a group interview.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How do you read all the resumes?
The resumes, yeah. So we actually don't read all the resumes. People send their resumes, that we ask them to send their resume, and we have some questions that we send to them, and we ask for a cover letter. Mm-hmm. They bring them to the interview. We only read the resumes of the people we're interested in. With conventional, you have to read them all mm-hmm. to see who you want to bring in. Where with a group interview, they all come in. If they don't stand out to us, then we don't bother reading their resume, because we know we're not going to hire them. Mm-hmm. So what's the point? It doesn't matter what's on their resume.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, people lie on their resume. Oh, so why would you depend too much on the resume? It's better to see the person first, spend time with them, and then read the resume.
That's right.
What do you say in a group interview? Yeah,
so, an interview is a good time for the people that are being interviewed to find out about your company as well. Mm-hmm. So in our group interviews, we share our values. First, we actually read the posting over again of what the job is about, because these people have been applying for so many jobs, and especially in the Alberta economy, people are applying for so many jobs. And so sometimes they come to the interview and they forget. I don't think we've ever had anybody walk out because they were at the wrong interview, but we just want to make sure that this is what they're actually applying for. And then we sort of read our values so that they know what we're going to expect of them.
Do you allow questions at a group interview?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way we run our group interviews is so after we've given our list of values, we allow the candidates to ask whatever questions they want. We just open it up. And again, like you said, it opens it up for, somebody might ask a question which triggers another question for somebody else, or somebody else may never have thought to ask that question. And that may change whether they really want to work for us or not.
Mm-hmm. How many questions do you ask?
So we, in our interview process, we ask one question. And so think of a really good question that you think would make people stand out about somebody, like about why they want to work there, why, and really know what you're looking for in the answer. That's something else that's going to kind of make a candidate stand out a little bit more than somebody else, is how they answered that question. Mm-hmm. You may have 20 different really good interview questions. You want one that's going to really tell them that, or tell you that this person is somebody that you want working for you.
What if someone comes late?
Yeah, good question. Again, with the conventional interviews, you've booked an hour, whatever it is, off for this person. If they come late, you might as well interview them anyway, right? Because they're there, you've booked time off. With a group interview, at our interviews, we actually lock the door when we tell them. If our interview time starts at 5 o'clock, our door is locked. And we've had candidates that come and get angry at us because we've locked the door, but we make it very clear in the email that we send to them that we are going to lock the door. And again, it helps us to sort of figure out, like if the person is late for an interview, chances are pretty good they're going to be late for work. So again, do you want to hire somebody that can't even make it on time for an interview?
Yeah, absolutely. And compared to a conventional interview where you actually bend over backwards just to fit their schedule into your schedule for you to be able to interview them. First of all, the group interview would eliminate that. And again, it sets an expectation of what is expected of the employee once they start to work. How can you really know if the person is the right fit for your team?
Yeah. So once you've decided if you want to hire that person, or possibly that's a possibility, what we would recommend is that you bring that person in for a shadow day. Just bring them in sometime during the week and let them see how it is that you work, what it is, what your life is like, basically, what things they're going to do. I mean, you can tell them what they're going to do, but until they actually see it, they're not going to really know. And you can often get sort of a little bit more of the personality of the person when they're doing a shadow day. We recently had somebody come in for a shadow and they did a really good interview. The interview was great, but they weren't going to be a good fit for our team because their personality, once they got into the team, it just wasn't what we were looking for. So it can help so much to just kind of, again, figure out who is actually going to fit on your team. And one of the advantages of having the group interview, now you hire somebody and another employee quits, you have a whole pool of people that you've already interviewed, you already know that you think they're going to fit. You don't have to go through the process all over again. And I know, especially for small business owners that are doing all the work themselves, not only do you have to do the hiring, but you have to do all your other work too. It has to get done. And so this kind of just takes that pressure off and helps you just to have a pool and just you can just hire when you need somebody. You don't have to take 2 weeks or whatever to
just
try
for
to
get
somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the questions we have for today. I hope you guys liked it. If you are interested in looking at more details on this hiring strategy, we recommend that you come to our boot camp. We have one in August, right? August 10th. Usually we held it at NATE. So yeah, feel free to come. It's free. You just have to be at the event page on Facebook. And if you have any questions about this video or comments, please comment on our section below, and please click like and subscribe if you like our video. Thanks again for watching our video, and we'll see you guys next time.